Number 10. Grabby aliens theory. Not every civilization chooses to remain hidden. Some entities are evolving according to a different scenario. Expansion. Robin Hanson, an economist and game theorist affiliated with Oxford, calls this the grabby aliens theory, civilizations that aggressively claim space. This is not a fringe hypothesis, but a mathematical model with haunting implications for the future of the universe. The premise is straightforward. When a civilization reaches a certain threshold of development, instead of staying home, they choose to expand exponentially at a significant fraction of the speed of light. They restructure space, reform star systems, and leave signatures visible from billions of light years away. The model predicts these civilizations expand at roughly 50% the speed of light, or of 150,000 kilometers a second. In 1 year, they cover a distance that would take Voyager 1 18,000 years to travel. Running this model based on the actual observed rate of star formation and the age of the universe yields a result that makes humanity tremble. We have between 200 million and 2 billion years before grabby civilizations completely fill the galaxy. On a cosmic timescale, this is merely a blink of an eye. We exist within a narrow golden window, just before the expansion completes. Every region of space will be claimed. Every resource will be controlled. The current silence is not because the universe is empty, but because it is the calm before the conquering wave sweeps through. Something is coming our way, and by the time they arrive, all our choices will have vanished. Number 9. The simulation barrier. Why does the universe have a speed limit? Light travels at 299,792 kilometers, not a fraction more or less, a precise figure enforced in every corner of space without a single exception. The universe functions like a computer system governed by hard-coded rules. The simulation hypothesis is no longer a mere work of fiction. What is new here lies in computational models from MIT and Oxford. Any sufficiently advanced simulated environment must necessarily incorporate a contact barrier. This is a pre-installed limit designed to prevent intelligences within the simulation from realizing their true nature, communicating with the substrate that created the system, or connecting with entities in other simulation instances. In a universe formed by natural origins, communication between civilizations should not be systematically impossible. However, in a world with design parameters, this barrier is a core feature, not a bug. Mathematics predicts that this barrier would manifest exactly as we observe. The speed of light prevents real-time interaction. Cosmic expansion pushes galaxies away faster than we can travel toward them, and quantum uncertainty scrambles information at a fundamental level. Each of these traits exists. Each limits our ability to connect. They look less like pure physics and more like a security firewall erected to isolate us. Scientists cannot prove this hypothesis, but they cannot rule it out either. Those who spend the longest time researching this concept often fall into a haunting, profound silence. They realize that the loneliness of the universe is not accidental, it is architectural. We are imprisoned within a system where every attempt to reach beyond is denied by the very laws of physics that were programmed into existence. Number 8. The percolation theory. Earth may be in a dead zone, not by accident, but by mathematics. Percolation theory, a branch of statistical physics, models how fluids seep through porous rock. It determines exactly which pockets fill up and which remain forever dry. In the 1990s, Geoffrey Landis applied this model to the problem of galactic colonization. The result is not just disturbing. It is a sentence. Civilizations do not spread evenly like a wave, they spread randomly. In any finite space, random expansion inevitably creates dead zones. These are pockets of uncolonized territory, surrounded by civilization yet isolated by probability. The model proves that even if civilizations colonize neighboring star systems with a mere 50% success rate, the galaxy will still develop vast regions that are never reached. It is not because they are avoided, but because the geometry of randomness creates permanent blind spots. Earth may be sitting in one of those air pockets. The nearest active civilizations could be 10,000 light years away. The universe is not empty, but we are trapped in a statistical bubble, a dry pocket amidst a surging ocean of life. The galactic geometry has cruelly bent the path of expansion away from us. We are not the center, not a protected experiment, and not a special species. We are merely a statistical accident, a void in a flooded galaxy, a coordinate that probability simply forgot. We stare into the black night and mistake it for solitude, but in reality, This silence is just the consequence of an indifferent propagation algorithm. We are the last dry patch in a world submerged, with no way to see the shore. Number 7. The estivation hypothesis. The most advanced civilizations in the universe are asleep. Not dead, not gone, but deliberately waiting. The foundation of this hypothesis lies in basic thermodynamics. Every computational process, thinking, simulating, processing, generates heat. The hotter the environment, the lower the efficiency of a computer. A civilization millions of years old, existing as digital entities within massive planet-scale processors, would view heat as its greatest existential enemy. The current universe is 2.7 Kelvin above absolute zero. That sounds cold, but it is not cold enough. In 10 trillion years, the universe will cool down to 0.00001 Kelvin. At that temperature, a computer can perform 100,000 times more calculations per unit of energy than it can right now. That gap is the difference between counting grains of sand and counting every atom in the observable universe. For entities that measure their existence in simulated millennia, waiting for the universe to cool is not just patience, it is the height of intelligence. Physicists Anders Sandberg and Stuart Armstrong formalized this theory in 2017. The math held up. No one found an error. The implication is staggering. The universe is not empty. It is filled with sleeping giants. They have looked at the current cosmic era and correctly decided that it is not worth waking up for. We are screaming into a silent library, not because no one is there, but because the readers inside are deliberately keeping their eyes shut. We exist in an era that is too hot, too noisy, and too inefficient for any truly advanced intelligence to bother running. The silence of the universe is not a mystery. It is a calculated indifference. Number 6. The rare complexity filter. Intelligence is not the hard step, the cell is. Every Fermi paradox theory assumes that once life starts, evolution toward intelligence is plausible. That assumption may be wrong. Not slightly wrong, catastrophically wrong. Prokaryotes, simple bacteria, appeared on Earth within 200 million years of the planet forming. Life starting is fast, almost immediate. By cosmic standards, life is easily triggered. But the leap from prokaryote to eukaryote, the cell with a nucleus, with mitochondria, with the internal machinery that makes complex life possible, took 1.8 billion years. A staggering figure. And it may have happened exactly once in the history of the planet. A single endosymbiotic event where one bacterium engulfed another and neither died. What is the probability of that event? No one knows. It is likely vanishingly small. Models suggest it is rarer than the origin of life itself. Data from the James Webb Telescope in 2003 confirmed that simple biological signatures might be common across the galaxy. That data is exciting, but it also sharpens the filter. If simple life is everywhere, but complex life is only here, then the barrier is not abiogenesis. The barrier is a single merger event 1.8 billion years ago. One bacterium, one moment, one accident. Everything you are descends from that. Across 2 trillion galaxies, this event may have happened only a handful of times. We are not the peak of evolution. We are the beneficiaries of a chemical accident that had no business succeeding. The silence of the universe is not because life is lacking, but because complex life is a statistical anomaly outside all possible probability. We are alone not because we are special, but because we are the final survivors of a zero probability event. Number 5. The dark forest upgrade. The classic dark forest theory states that the universe is full of hidden predators. However, a new mathematical model from researchers at the Institute of Statistical Astronomical Surveys in 2023 has upgraded this theory into a more ruthless mathematical law. This is not philosophical speculation. This is game theory run through computer simulations 10 million times using real physical constants. The result displays a chilling number. 98.7% of civilizations that broadcast their location into space are completely wiped out after just 3 to 5 contact cycles. This upgraded model proves that the silence of the universe is not because other planets lack technology, but because they know the rules of the game perfectly. The core nature of cosmic mechanics is information asymmetry. When Civilization A spots Civilization B, the distance of hundreds of light years renders any attempt at mutual understanding completely worthless. There is no shared history, no shared language. Waiting to see if the other side is peaceful is a suicidal calculation. The only ultimate logic for survival is to strike first. If Earth receives a signal from a planet 50 light years away, and we excitedly reply, it will be humanity's final mistake. The simulation math shows that the next thing arriving is not a greeting, but an automated relativistic kinetic weapon traveling right behind that wavelength at near light speed. We are standing inside a trap pre-triggered by mathematics. The universe is not empty. It is simply a prison cell where the only survivors are those who remain absolutely silent. Number 4. Quantum solipsism hypothesis. Every observer exists in a slightly different universe. Contact between universes is impossible by definition. This theory starts with physics, not speculation. The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, supported by a majority of physicists at major institutions, states that every quantum event branches the universe. Every measurement, every particle interaction, every observation, the universe splits, and both outcomes occur in separate branches, in 13.8 billion years with 1080 particles, each undergoing trillions of quantum interactions per second. The number of branches is beyond any number with a name. The new implication is this: no two observers ever share the exact same branch. The divergence is tiny, practically identical for everyday purposes. However, when sending a signal across 1,000 light years, the quantum divergence between the sender's and receiver's branches may be enough to make the signal undetectable. The signal is not weak, nor is it scrambled. It simply arrives in a universe where the receiver does not exist in a configuration capable of receiving it, every civilization broadcast into its own branch. Every signal is correct in its branch, perfect in its branch, and completely invisible to every other branch. We are not alone in the universe. We are alone in our own universe. And that distinction is everything. We are imprisoned within parallel realities that never intersect, forever lost among countless copies of ourselves. Number 3. The Berserker updated model. They are already here. We simply have not triggered them yet. Fred Saberhagen invented the concept of Berserker probes in fiction, but scientists have formalized it through actual physics. The old hypothesis stated, self-replicating probes enter star systems, scan for data, and if intelligent life capable of threatening galactic stability is detected, they eliminate it immediately. That view is obsolete. The 2022 updated model reveals a much more brutal reality. A civilization advanced enough to build self-replicating probes is inevitably patient enough to play a long game. They do not destroy immediately. They lie dormant. They wait. They observe star systems for millions of years, waiting for radio signatures, waiting for the development of space travel. When that civilization evolves to the threshold of becoming a potential threat, that is when the Berserker activates. The CD program at Penn State University ran simulations on the distribution of these probes. A single civilization launching probes 4 billion years ago, utilizing stellar gravitational slingshots to accelerate, could have placed these devices within the asteroid belt of every star system in the Milky Way by now. The required number is only about 10 million units. The size, just a few meters, is small enough to evade detection by current telescopes. We have not scanned every asteroid. We have not checked every Lagrange point. It is possible that something is currently residing within this very solar system, silently watching our accumulating radio signals. It is running a threat assessment that began tens of thousands of years ago and may be near completion. We do not know what the final trigger is. The moment we broadcast a stronger signal, inadvertently stepping out of our safe zone, we are effectively hitting the kill switch for our own species. Number 2. The technological singularity silence. Every civilization that reaches the radio age also reaches the technological singularity within a few centuries. After that milestone, not a single signal is ever broadcast again. This is not extinction, but a permanent withdrawal. The technological singularity is the point at which a civilization creates artificial intelligence that surpasses its own. From that moment, the AI begins self-improving at an exponential explosive rate. The intelligence gap between the creator and its product is no longer a matter of knowledge, but the evolutionary abyss between a bacterium and a theoretical physicist. When reaching this level, the civilization does not look outward into space. It collapses inward. They begin running endless simulations, building their own realities, exploring internal space rather than raw physical space. To them, the external universe becomes mundane, unworthy of a millisecond of processing resources. They stop broadcasting. Not because they are afraid, nor because they are dead, but simply because they no longer find any value in the existence of the external universe. Data from the Planck telescope on the cosmic microwave background shows the result. Not a single artificial signal at any frequency we can decode. The number is zero. In a galaxy 100,000 light years across, with hundreds of billions of stars and millions of potential civilizations, the silence is absolute. The singularity model predicts this exactly. Every civilization must cross that threshold. Every civilization turns inward, and from our perspective, they look exactly like nothing. We are nearing that threshold. We can see it from here. Number 1. The final theory. We are the first. And that is the most terrifying answer of all. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. That sounds ancient. For the emergence of life, it is practically newborn. The first generation of stars contained almost no heavy elements. No carbon, no oxygen, no iron. It took 3 generations of stellar death and rebirth to seed the galaxy with the atoms that life requires. The math run by David Kipping at Columbia and corroborated by models from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics shows that the universe is only now, in this exact cosmic era, becoming habitable at scale. The peak era of planet formation was 8 billion years ago. But the peak era of life-sustaining planets, with the right chemistry, the right stellar stability, and the right heavy element abundance, is likely right now, or in the next few billion years. We are not late to this party. We are the first guests to arrive. The party has barely started. Every other theory assumes that civilizations preceded us. The Dark Forest assumes there are hunters. The Berserker assumes someone built the probes. The estivation models assume there are giants already old and weary. But what if they are all wrong? What if we are genuinely among the first intelligent civilizations in this galaxy, perhaps in the entire observable universe, to reach this milestone? In that case, the silence is not a warning. It is not a trap. It is not a filter. It is simply the silence before anything has been said. The civilizations that will emerge in the next billion years, in numbers we cannot calculate, will look back at this moment, at this pale blue dot, at these radio signals leaking into the void, at these first fragile, impossible minds staring up into the darkness, and they will know. They will know we were the pioneers. We asked the question before anyone else could answer it, and we will never know what they became.